Good morning. This is Steve from Go Figure Farm. This is the first video of 2020, so it's been quite some time since I made a video about my fruit growing. So today, basically the way the season is went, we had a mild winter. The outdoor figs had very little dieback, and then we got hit by April and May weather, which was very blustery and cold. And might as well get an animal in the video. This is my cat Ricky, who was running up for some reason. It was very blustery and cold in April and May. We had a late freeze, and that set some figs back, especially the younger ones that were in ground. I planted a few more trees this spring as well. So what I wanted to, and then to finish my story, so they looked great. We had blustery weather, they got set back, and then we got hit by ambrosia beetles, which I think took advantage of the fact that a lot of the figs had dieback and were kind of weakened and stressed. And that I had to saw down some of my in-ground figs almost down to the ground. And then I've also had some kind of, as the weather has warmed up, some of the wood, which looked fine and in most cases had new growth coming out, it then went on to die later, which I've never seen before. So I've had to, just in the past week or so, remove a few more trunks from trees that had died just recently. So, but anyway, let me turn this around and I'll just give you a quick tour of the garden and I'm not really going to give a full tour, but I just wanted to kind of give a quick view of the back orchard here and how things are growing. It's been a pretty good year so far. We're in a dry spell right now. We did get about 1/10 of an inch of rain last night, but that wasn't very much. So what I'm going to talk about today is Brebas, and I'm going to focus initially on the in-ground figs, the Brebas from in-ground figs, and then I'm going to talk about the varieties that are producing Brebas for the container figs. So this variety is called Iranian candy, Iranian candy, I guess is the better pronunciation, and it was initially called Rassy Northern Persian Unknown, and then the name was changed to Iranian candy. And it had one Breba, which I picked last night, and was quite good, very sweet. That's the first Breba from an in-ground tree. It has a lot of main crop forming. This is a great variety for growing in ground. It's very early. This is Violette de Bordeaux from Adriano in Canada. I protected this tree very well, and it had no dieback, and it's going great guns. It has a really nice main crop forming. But if you look underneath the canopy here, there's some Brebas. It's funny, they were much easier to spot previously, but there's one. I don't know if the lighting is all that good here, but there's probably about 10 Brebas on this tree, something like that. So it's a well-known variety for having a good Breba crop. And that's part of the reason why I just decided to protect it very carefully, so I would be able to get some Brebas from it. This is Laredex brown turkey. It's an English brown turkey type, very tasty, and it also is known for having a good Breba crop. There's a Breba. I can't remember if I said the date, but it's July 11th, and I'm expecting these to ripen sometime in the next week or two. There's a Breba. Right. Yeah, right there is a Breba. Um, it's also got, as you can see, a good main crop forming. So the rest of the in-ground trees that have Brebas were actually planted this spring. The ones I showed you, the three I just showed you up to now have been ones that have went through the winter. So this is cheating, it's true, but this is Becane. It's French fig, Becane, and I actually don't know the proper pronunciation. Becane. But it's got a really nice main crop. I think, oh geez, these are not Brebas actually. I was thinking this had Brebas, but now I'm starting to question that. I think maybe they fell off in the cold weather. This is this is Peretta, which is related to long dute, and Niagara Black. I don't think it has any Brebas either. This guy definitely has Brebas. There's one. This is Fat Vic's White. So it's an unknown from New Jersey. I got from a very friendly person. And these are kind of figs that I think came from his family. And I'm very happy to be growing them. This seems to be a really good fig for growing in ground. Okay, so I totally forgot about a couple varieties. These did in fact go through the winter. And this one had essentially no protection other than mulch at the base. This is long dute. And it has Brebas that are now swelling. There's a couple more there. And a good main crop as well. So this is going to have a good year unless the rain and the insects destroy the figs before they ripen properly, which sometimes happens with this variety. This is Niagara Black. It's got a little bit of rust actually, which I almost have never seen before here, but I'm seeing a little bit on a few trees. It has at least one Breba here, and but I think these are the same variety. For me, I have them growing side by side. For me, they seem to be the same, except Niagara Black is maybe just slightly healthier. It's a younger tree, that's why it's smaller. So, excellent variety for growing in ground. But if the rain falls at the wrong time, then the insects really go after the figs. Okay, so here's a few more that I planted this spring. This one was actually planted before the cold weather in April and May came. So this lone Breba here was able to persist through that weather. But it did not go through the winter, so just to be clear. And then this is Soda Sicilian, and I swear to God there was Brebas on here up to very recently, but I don't see one now. But it's an English brown turkey type, I think, and it definitely has a tendency to produce a good Breba crop ordinarily. So this. Okay, so now I'm gonna show Brebas on varieties that are growing in containers. So they've been overwintered in a shed which stays above about 23 degrees. This is Genovese Nero AF, and it definitely has a few. This tree, like many of my other container trees, is shedding leaves. It's been very difficult to keep these container trees happy. We've had at least 2 weeks of almost continually 90-degree weather with no rain, or 90+ degree weather with no rain, and I've just been having trouble keeping my figs happy. And they've been shedding some leaves, and that's a topic for another video, I guess. But Here's another Breba. Okay, so then if we continue down the row here, okay, so then you have Frank's Salerno, which is, I think, a Sal's Corleone type or Palermo Red type. Seems to be in that general family. Looks like the ants have discovered this one. I will pick it. Yeah, these, I picked one already. It was quite good, very sweet, kind of caramely. As soon as I'm done making this video, I'll pick that one. And then finally, I think the last ones worth discussing are the San Pedro variety, a couple San Pedro varieties. This is Filiachano Bianco. I have it growing in ground in a bag, which 7-gallon bag, fabric bag, and then I'll dig it out at the end of the season. And it has Brebas forming, which are swelling. So it'll be interesting to try these. They're always good. I've had this variety for quite a few years, and very reliable. Okay, so this is the last tree I'll talk about. This is Granthams Royal. It's a San Pedro, and it has a branch. This is a graft here. So this branch is Lampiera Preta. So it's also a San Pedro. So it's a multiple San Pedro tree, and each side has Brebas. So this is the Lampiera Preta Brebas, and then some Granthams Royal Brebas. I have it planted close to the house, so that the thinking was, or is, that I will protect it using this electrical pipe, which puts out enough heat to keep pipes from freezing. Electrical pipe wrap, so I'll have it wrapped, then inside I'll have the electrical pipe tape or wrap, and just to keep it warm enough from completely getting too cold so that the Brebas die. So it's going to be a challenge. I don't know if this is a great idea. The problem is, at the end of after the Brebas ripen, I'm going to have to prune it so that it stays at a reasonable size so I can protect it. Hopefully it will get enough growth that after I prune that there will be enough new growth that the Brebas can form next spring on. So we'll see. Anyway, that's kind of an experiment. So kind of the bottom line is I have a number of trees with Brebas. None of them are going to give me a huge Breba crop, but I'll get a few figs to tie me over until early August, until when the main crop starts to ripen. Maybe in another year, when our spring isn't so cold and blustery, I'll get more than this, because many varieties of in-ground figs had a significant number of Brebas on them that dropped. And I don't know if that's, if we had a mild spring, whether they would have held or not, but maybe I'll find out in coming years. Anyway, this is Steve from Go Figure Farm.